As I discussed with Paul Manafort, Trump's comments about North Carolina's new law restricting bathrooms in the case of transgender people created quite a backlash, and Ted Cruz saw an opening. Here he is.
He thought that men should be able to go into the girls' bathroom if they want to. Have we gone stark raving nuts?
Ben, is this issue, which obviously Cruz sees as an opening, is this a good issue for Republicans in the primaries, and is it a good issue for Republicans in the general election?
Well, first off, within the context of the discussion about bathrooms, keep in mind there are fewer transgender people in America, according to the best estimates than we have, than there are registered sex offenders. And in this case, I think that's actually the thing that people are concerned about. They're less concerned about transgender people coming into bathrooms than they are men using this as a way to get into locker rooms with women and to exploit that opportunity to participate in some kind of criminal act. I think that's something that is a concern among a lot of Americans. The polls generally show that favoring, sort of these types of policies has actually increased since this debate has started. On the side of Trump, I think that this is just part of the piece of seen in the past. A month ago, after he ran the table in Florida, in Missouri, in Illinois, and in North Carolina, there was all this talk about he's going to shift to being more presidential, and instead he embarked on a series of gaffes and own goals that undermined his own ability to coalesce and to unite the party. What we've seen over the past week since he won in New York is, again, reverting to these personalized attacks, calling for weakening the pro-life plank of the party, getting to the left of Hillary Clinton on transgender issues, coming out in favor of raising taxes, insulting his opponents' names, and coming out again just the other day and suggesting, in spite of all of the legal decisions that have gone against it, that Ted Cruz is not going to be a qualified candidate for the presidency because he's not a naturalized citizen. This is not someone who is interested in uniting the party, and if it's so easy to be presidential, why doesn't he try it for 5 minutes?
Wow. Well, that was pretty tough. I want to go back, though, to this issue of the bathrooms and whether it's a good issue, because we actually decided to try to find out whether it is a public safety issue, whether it is a problem with transgender people misusing bathrooms to prey on others. And here's what the fact-checking group PolitiFact found. That's that PolitiFact, haven't found any instance of criminals convicted of using transgender protections as cover in the United States. Neither have any left-wing groups or right-wing groups, which brings me to Charles Krauthammer's comment, which I was quoting to Paul Manafort earlier, which is this seems to be a solution in search of a problem.
Well, I think that's right, because, in fact, one of the police chiefs in North Carolina said that he'd been in the police force 40 years. He'd never dealt with this issue. So he said, it was as if people are creating a problem in search of a solution. I think what we come back to is a wedge issue here, a wedge issue that, in terms of gay rights, gay marriage, as you know, has been controversial, but that wedge issue, it worked in 2004. If you recall, the campaign got gay marriage on the ballot, helped President Bush gain re-election in 2004. This time, that issue, in terms of the polling, just doesn't have the same power, the same strength on the electorate. And when you look at the reality of it, people say, well, gosh, at home, I use the same bathroom as my wife. In college, they have same-sex bathrooms. This does not seem to be a crying issue. But even in terms of the evangelical community, the power of the true conservatives, which is what I think Cruz is trying to do by countering Trump on this issue, it just doesn't seem to carry the day. It does not seem to have the power, Chris.